I am Ferdinand Marcos, and I am the President of the Republic of the Philippines. I stand today on behalf of 110 million Filipinos.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning to all the esteemed colleagues and our resource speakers. First of all, I just wish to make a very short manifestation on the issue earlier. This representation could not relate to the cherished and long-standing tradition because this is the first term of this representation. Nonetheless, I understand that by that tradition, we're supposed to extend parliamentary courtesy and by which we're not supposed to raise questions on the budget of the OVP. However, Madam Chair, I wish to ask the committee if we will be always submitting to this tradition, what happens to the constitutional provision on public office is a public trust, and that we should always be accountable to the people. While this representation differ to the wisdom of the senior members, I wish to manifest that I, and I hope along with the new breed of legislators, are inclined to honor the tradition contrary to the manifestation of the Honorable Marcoleta. However, Madam Chair, what happens if the tradition is not sufficient? What happens if the tradition is not effective? What happens if the tradition does not unite and instead it divides? Let us all remember that in all parliamentary proceedings, the majority always rule. And it is on this light that I wish to commend the chair for immediately proceeding to the division of the House. And when the committee voted for no, it has rendered the issue yes, moot and academic. And I concede to the Honorable Garin that even this representation disregard this rule. That is a manifestation, Madam Chair. And proceeding to the interpellation, I wish to invite the attention of the COA to welfare goods.
Oh, yun guys.
Can we show the slide first, please?
Yan ang hindi alam ni BP Sara, yung sinabi ni Congressman Luisito. Piskal ito guys, sa abogado yan. Yan ang hindi nila alam. Oh, hindi sila marunong gumalang.
There are
while waiting for the slides.
Para sa akin guys, dinastos nila talaga.
The highest form of tradition in the House is the will of the majority.
Wala sila, hindi sila
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat.
But that was very enlightening, Madam Chair. The exchange of arguments. And proceeding, Madam Chair, I wish to state for the record that in order to address three social problems, problem on malnutrition, problem on poverty, and even problem on calamity response, the OVP launched the distribution of welfare goods program, as well as the OVP Kalusugan food truck. I hope we can show the slide. However, Madam Chair,
the slide, please.
Regardless of how ideal and how good these programs are, there are rules that we need to follow. And I wish to invite the attention. The first slide, please. The first slide.
One slide back.
This is the last.
Oh, sorry.
I have 3 slides only, Madam Chair.
Kawawa talaga yung mga guro at saka mga bata, umaasa sa wala, naloko na. Ay, ewan ko.
There. To address the problem on malnutrition, calamity response, and hunger, the OVP launched the distribution of welfare goods and Kalusugan food truck, and will launch this program of the Office of the Vice President. Nonetheless, Madam Chair, there are rules that need to be followed, and this is in line with the constitutional provision that public office is a public trust, and therefore we need to follow these rules. I wish to invite the attention of the committee to Section 123 of PD 1445. This is about the audit of government offices. Kailangan po natin ng internal control. And then we proceed to Section 124, PD 1445 again. The responsibility of the head of the agency to install the internal control. Now, I wish to go to the COA. Ito po bang Section 123 at Section 124, were this complied with by the Office of the Vice President during the implementation, launching of this distribution of welfare goods, as well as the OVP Kalusugan food truck?
Magaling na abogado.
Madam Chair, based on our report, the various deficiencies noted in the distribution of welfare
Madam
goods...
Chair, can we ask the COA to limit the answer to the question which is being propounded? Nasunod po ba itong Section 123? Yes or no?
Based on our report, it is not strictly in accordance with Sections 1, 2, 3, and
So
1,
it
2,
was
4.
not strictly complied with. In other words, there is no sufficient internal control. Tama po ba?
Yes, Madam Chair.
How about Section 124? Did the Vice President heed to the mandate of Section 124 that she has to make sure that she will install the internal control? Nasunod po ba o hindi ang Section 124?
Madam Chair, based on the COA report, there is a guidelines, but then the guidelines is not sufficient. So there is
In other words, Section 124 was not strictly complied with also by the OVP. That is the implication of the answer of the COA. Now, I wish to invite the attention of the COA to the documents that need to be provided for us to be able to liquidate the distribution of goods. One is distribution list. This is only few of the several documents. 2 is property acknowledgement receipt. 4 is request and issue slip. And 5 is deed of donation. Ito po bang 5 documentary requirements na ito ay na-submit, na-provide ng OVP in the liquidation of the distribution of welfare goods? Yes or no lang po?
Madam Chair, based on our report or audit, some of distribution list was submitted, but some of the distribution lists were not submitted. For particularly those mentioned in the report for the distribution of rice.
Thank you. And for us to have a better picture of what the COA meant by some were submitted, some were not, may I request the Secretariat to please flash the second slide. There.
Bagay magsenador ito, guys.
The report of the COA shows that 557,000 pansarap buns dated October 5, 2023 has no proof of acknowledgement receipt.
Hala.
Does the COA confirm?
Madam Chair, yes po.
Hala.
It also shows that 434,000 also pansarap buns on December 14, 2023 lacks acknowledgement receipt of the school as well as proof of acknowledgement receipt. Does the COA confirm?
Madam Chair, yes po.
Can you please show again Does the COA confirm the 460,000 supply of rice? That there is no proof of acknowledgement receipt. This one is dated March 31, 2023.
Agoy, mga bes.
Does the COA confirm?
Yes, Madam Chair.
How about the 218,750 lacking in proof of acknowledgement receipt? This is dated March 31 also. This is also about rice. Does the COA confirm?
Madam Chair, yes po.
And ultimately, this one is really a huge amount. Malaking halaga po ito, Madam Chair. 62,774,000. Distribution of year-end food packs on December 29, 2023. Wala ding proof of acknowledgement receipt. Does the COA confirm?
Oh, ano na? Ano na, mga DDS?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Narinig nyo yon?
In other words, Madam Chair, this is almost 65 million
Agree.
which were not properly liquidated with the COA.
Allah.
Tanungin ko lang po ang COA, Madam Chair. What do you plan to do considering the huge amount which are not properly liquidated by the OVP?
Okay, so, Allah kayo.
Madam Chair, come again.
What does the COA plan to do with the almost 65 million unliquidated amount?
Agoy. Paktay kayo ngayon. I-explain nyo!
For this disbursement with not supported with complete documentation, we, based on our recommendation, it will be required to the OBP to submit.
Allah kayo, bes.
Until when are they allowed to submit the liquidation of this distribution of welfare goods?
Then also until what? Come again?
Until when are they allowed to submit?
Madam Chair, if not submitted within the time given with the OBP, we will address it or issue a notice of suspension.
Allah kayo.
Wala po ba tayong guidelines when it comes to the prescriptive period kung kailan tayo magsasubmit ng documentary requirements to explain the distribution of welfare goods? This is almost 65 million, Madam Chair.
Dami yan, guys.
And yet, this is not properly liquidated.
Oh my goodness. O, ano na? Ano?
Nonetheless, Madam Chair, let me proceed to
Wala
the second
kayo.
concern, the lapses in inventory management. We understand that the OVP likewise launched Kalusugan Food Truck. This is a 6-wheeler truck which serves as a mobile kitchen in response to calamities. However, Madam Chair, upon reading of the report of the COA, there are 3 significant observations. Can we please flash the third slide? 1, the food items are near expiry. 2, foods are not found in the storage. And 3, they are placed in unventilated storage. Madam Chair, I understand that this is not a huge amount. However, I wish to invite the attention of the committee that this is the same observation that we had in the budget of the Department of Education, Madam Chair. So, I wish to raise the concern that ano po ba itong failure to account the distribution of welfare goods? Sana naman hindi. But I'm afraid that this might be another case of ghost delivery. How do we know that this is not really a case of ghost delivery?
Oh,
Let us be reminded by the controversy hunting the pharmaceuticals. And let us be reminded as well by the provision on malversation under Article 217. Finally, Madam Chair, regarding the lapses in inventory management, I think it is more prudent that we leave Kalusugan Food Truck to the management and implementation of the TSWD, which is the agency specialized on catering community service. And with that observation, Madam Chair, I hope that this will be not an incident similar to the one which transpired in 2015, kung saan may nadiskubre po tayong ibinaon na 500 sacks of rice because they were not properly managed. These are observations, Madam Chair, which the attention of the COA and all the concerned agencies I really wish to call. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat.
Madam Chair?
Guys, see?
Yes, please.
Oh, ano
I
na?
will clarify. The PAR is the post-activity report was that is the lacking documents. That's not. Yes, that for the record, it is the post-activity report, not the property acknowledgement receipt.
And may we know the significance of the post-activity report?
The post-activity report serve as the proof that there is an activity happened on the distribution.
Well, it is my humble submission, Madam Chair, that it is as significant as proof of acknowledgement of receipt after all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat. We now proceed to... So we shall begin interpretation. Siyempre nakakalungkot na wala tayong representatives mula sa OVP, pero muli meron tayong representatives mula sa DBM at COA. And again, I would like to
Madam Chair.
remind our members that you each have 5 minutes for your interpellation, and to remind our resource persons that those 5 minutes will not include your responses. And so, the first
Madam
to
Chair.
interpellate from the minority, we have the Honorable Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez. You have 5 minutes. The floor is yours, Kong Rog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning po to our resource persons from the COA and the DBM. Madam Chair, this representation, first and foremost, laments the fact that the Office of the Vice President has failed to appear today. We lament the fact that, as I understand, the committee actually extended courtesy. In the letter, it was indicated that the Vice President may or may not attend. However, it is required that a representative be here. Unfortunately, not even a representative is present here, kahit Yusek man lang, ASEC, not even a director, for us to be answer questions. As a personal courtesy to the Office of the Vice President and understanding her responses from the last hearing, this representation has opted to question mostly the budget of 2023 regarding the regular budget. But even then, unfortunately, it would seem that the OVP is not here for us to question. So but in line with their duty in the House for the deliberation of the budget, I will carry on with my questions. Siguro po dito na lang si COA, because coincidentally my questions are precisely on the COA report. So with that, Madam Chair, we'll be now proceeding with my questioning to the COA.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
What is your point of order, and please explain the rule that is violated?
The rule violated, Madam Chair, is our tradition. You just upheld that the tradition will be respected. And so, if questions will still be asked, then the tradition that we have kept so well, that you have said that we're not about to discard right now, will be disrespected again. I thought we understood each other.
There was already a ruling.
Kong Marcoleta, we had already voted earlier on that issue.
That's
on
another matter,
so
Madam Chair.
Your point is not well taken. Please proceed, Kong Rog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Madam Chair, I'd like to direct my question to the COA. Madam Chair, I understand part of the budget of the OVP was utilized for the construction of satellite offices. Would that be confirmed by the COA?
The Office of the Vice President has several satellite offices. 3 established in 2022 and 7 were established in 2023. So it's I stand corrected. 3 force based on the report, or 7 was established in 2022 and 3 was established in 2023. So around 10 satellite offices were established by the Office of the Vice President.
Madam Chair, my next question was supposedly about whether there were additional satellite offices or extension offices established in 2024. But I believe the COA will not be able to answer this, so I will forgo this question. I also have a question as to whether there will be additional SOs and EOs in 2025 as to their proposed budget. But I understand also the COA will not be in a position to answer this, so I will forgo this. Madam Chair, based on the OVP, annual audit report for 2023, there is an item there regarding the rent and lease expenses. Would you be able to clarify with us what were your findings on rent and lease expenses?
Based on our observations, there are no major deficiency or significant deficiencies on the rent expenses of the OVP.
Sorry, Madam Chair, may I clarify? Magkano po yung lease expenses that you have found in your audit report?
Based on the notes to financial statement prepared by the agency, the amount of rent expenses for the year 2023 is around 53,463,000 1,434.11.
And Madam Chair, for fiscal year 2022, how much po yung lease nila?
For the 2022, it is 29,867,228.20.
So, or roughly from around 30 million to 53 million po yung increase, no? Yung rent natin. Okay, thank you. But for these SOs and EOs, actually, Madam Chair, on this juncture, I was supposed to ask the Office of the Vice President if there was any studies conducted as to the locations of the satellite offices and extension offices. But as there's no representative, I will have to forego this question. Madam Chair, may we ask the COA, based on their reports in the previous administrations, were satellite offices and extension offices constructed by previous administrations?
On my knowledge, based on my knowledge, the previous office of the Vice President or the previous administration for Office of the Vice President does not have a satellite offices.
No satellite offices. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Madam Chair, what exactly is the function of, based on your audit and based on your investigation, what is the exact function of a satellite office or extension office?
Based on our audit, the satellite offices has the functions to extend the social services such as the medical and burial assistance of the programs of the Office of the Vice President.
Madam Chair, so it's meant to be an extension of the social services function?
Yes.
But Madam Chair, I understand in your executive summary, you also, as COA, you familiarize yourselves with the office and the function, and the mandate is necessary for you to determine whether or not it is in line with what they are supposed to be doing, correct, Madam Chair? So, Madam Chair, with the OVP, what is the exact mandate of the Office of the Vice President as far as the COA is concerned?
Based on the notes to financial statement or our report, the OVP is a national government agency established under Section 3 of the Article 7 of the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, and later reorganized on July 24, 1987 under Executive Order number 240, and then as the second highest office in the land committed to the service of the nation, OVP performs executive, ceremonial, and advocacy functions, collaborating with stakeholder and organization in both public and private sectors to develop and promote programs that uplift the lives of the Filipino.
Madam Chair, according to the COA, in your opinion, can the OVP continue its programs without satellite offices and extension offices? As you mentioned in the previous administrations, wala naman pong SO, wala namang EO. So, based on your audit findings, would it be absolutely necessary that we have this rent and lease expenses?
I think if the question is kung necessary po ba yung mga pag-open ng extensions offices, I think the question must be addressed to the Office of the Vice President, not the auditors. But then on our point of view, based on our audit, that to extend the services, it is considered or it may be okay for the Office of the Vice President to open an extension office or satellite offices to extend their services.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, I would agree, and I was actually considering foregoing that question, but I just wanted to get the COA's opinion since they have institutional and historical knowledge of yung previous administrations and the fact that they were able to carry out their functions without satellite offices and extension offices. But with that, Madam Chair, understanding also that tama naman po yung sinabi ng COA that perhaps the SO and the EOs are there to assist in the administration of other functions of the OVP. I understand that there's a finding in your observations and recommendations, number 8, regarding the cash advances. Can you please clarify? Ano po ito?
Madam Chair, under the number 8 of the observation, this is the under and over budget allocation for each satellite offices. Based on our review on the average monthly disbursement of each satellite office, based on the actual expenses for CY 2023, it disclosed that the cash advances granted to the disbursement officers in the OVP satellite office were not within the 2-month budget requirements as required by the Section 20, Chapter 6, Volume 1 of the GAM for NGAS. So there is an under and over 2-month budget requirements.
Madam Chair, my understanding po of this cash advance is to allow for the orderly administration of those functions of the SOs and EOs po, no? And rightly, there are guidelines with the COA that 2 months po yung ideal na meron parang for their operating usage. Madam Chair, can the COA correct us, based on their understanding of the nationwide needs of budgeting and auditing, are all regions equal po ba? Are all the requirements equal throughout the country? Or varying naman po siya based on demographic, based on demand? With other functions, for example, in your auditing of the DSWD, sa history po ninyo, when auditing their social services functions, equal po ba palagi ang budget ng kanilang regional offices?
Madam Chair, on my knowledge, actually, dapat po mayroong assessment on the scope or the number of beneficiaries involved, kasi kung assistance po ito, kailangan nating i-consider yung number of beneficiaries, so hindi po dapat equally.
Correct. So we should be actually considering ano po yung pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan, ilan po yung ating mga kababayan doon, yung population center, yung how far they are from the office. Yun po ay mga aspects that we consider when setting up regional offices. That would be a fair assumption to make. Correct po, no, Mr. Chair? Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, yes po.
Yes. Madam Chair, do you find it odd that for all of these ex-satellite offices, they share an equal 2.2 million cash advance? Except, of course, for the BARM, which suspiciously only has 200,000 cash advance granted.
For this observation, the Office of the Vice President established or equally granted cash advance for 2,200,000 for each satellite office except for the BARM. So kaya po meron kaming observation na over budget utilization, kasi for us, I think hindi dapat siya uniform. It must be consider po yung lawak nung scope or yung mga beneficiaries involved po natin para po ma-consider yung tamang amount na i-establish po natin. So as you can see in the report, there's a under over budget requirements. So meron pong mga satellite offices na sobra-sobra yung budget, at the same time meron naman pong mga satellite offices na kulang yung budget.
And
Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry, Madam Chair. Madam Chair,
Yeah.
parliamentary inquiry.
The Honorable Abante.
It is also a cherished tradition in Congress that whenever we deliberate the budget of a certain agency, that the head of the agency must be present. At this point in time, there are no staff here. The head of agency present on the office of the Vice President. And we only have a DBM here. A DBM even answered that only, the COA even answered that only the OVP could be able to answer that. Perhaps we could be able to say it. Kanina, sinabi rin po ni Jose Marcoleta, is a cherished tradition to approve the budget immediately. But there's a cherished tradition that when we deliberate a budget of any agency, that the head of agency should be present. That is my parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair.
So, as we had explained earlier, we received a letter dated 10 September, at doon sa liham na yon, pinaliwanag ng ating Vice Presidente na sinabit na po niya lahat ng mga documents na sa tingin niya ay kakailanganin ng Kongreso sa ating pagkilatis ng kanyang budget.
Yes, Madam
And
Chair.
so, yun po ang sitwasyon natin sa ngayon. Pwede natin, pagkatapos ng ating interpellation, pwede natin desisyonan kung anong gagawin. Pero sa ngayon, ipapagpatuloy muna natin ang pagtatanong.
Madam Chair, let me explain. No? But her letter, actually, na her not being present here, is an insult to this institution. When we had the last hearing, I even questioned her if this institution has the right to scrutinize the budget, and she even failed to answer. My goodness, I think that her writing a letter to us telling us that she has completed this, she still must be present, Madam Chair. And because she is not present, she is actually insulting the second institution that should scrutinize the budget of the Vice President. And I do not care even if she is the Vice President, Madam Chair. I will not allow that Congress will be insulted by the head of any agency.
Duly noted.
But Madam Chair, whatever your decision might be, I would concede to it.
Salamat po. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and salamat Kong Benny. Akala ko po ako yung subject ng point of inquiry ninyo. Natakot po ako doon, pero salamat po. And I share the frustration and lament that. And actually, as you can see based on my interpellation, although, yes, we're able to get these questions out in the open, wala po tayong actual sagot na nakukuha, unfortunately. And this is by no fault of the COA. We appreciate your attendance here and your answering to the best of your abilities. But it's just that precisely the questions here relating to the budget of 2025, understandably, you will not be able to answer. With that, Madam Chair, I have other questions here. And supposedly at this juncture, lahat na po ito ay targeted, directed po dun sa OVP. But just to point it out po, no, going back to what the COA mentioned regarding the percentage of variance, yung over po nga ng Cebu and Bohol was 70%. As compared naman yung under for Panay and Negros Islands, 276% po. So hindi po maayos yung pag-distribute throughout the regions. It seems to be they were done equally. They were equally cut, and I think this would definitely have an effect on the operational effectiveness of yung mga satellite offices and extension offices. But anyway, I leave it to the body to decide on what to do with this, and I will now conclude my interpellation. Thank you very much, COA. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Salamat. Next to interpellate from the majority, we have the Honorable Fidel Nograles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is addressed to the COA in relation to the question on the lease or rent of satellite offices. I would like to ask, based on your audit report, that you mentioned that in 2022, there was 29 million, and in 2023, there was 53 million spent on lease or rent of satellite offices or extension offices. In your audit report, do you have details on the breakdown of this 53 million spent on year 2023? If yes, can you provide our committee with information on how this 53 million on the lease of satellite offices was spent?
Madam Chair, based on the report, the rent expenses or lease expenses in CY 2023 represents the payment for the lease of office at the Robinson Cybergrid Plaza, Disaster Operations Center, and various satellite office locations. It also includes the lease of storage space for various files and equipment and lease of multi-copier machines. So, for your question, Madam Chair, on the exact amount or the breakdown of the 53 million, we can provide it on the later date because we have no on records on file as of this moment.
Madam Chair, on record, do you have an average of the monthly lease or the rent of these satellite offices?
For the monthly average, Madam Chair, as of now, we cannot provide the exact amount or the average because in the report we have no written or there is no breakdown on the annual or the monthly expenses for rental. But we will we can provide the copy once we got the documents on the office.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would also like to ask about the salaries and wages. If you have information in your audit report regarding the disbursed amount for contractual and casual employees of the satellite offices.
Based on the notes to financial statement, including in our report, there are no breakdown for the salaries and wages for the satellite offices.
Madam Chair, for my last question, I would like to ask about the financial assistance or subsidies given to political organizations or non-NGOs. Do you have information in your audit report which you can provide to our committee regarding the disbursement or the release of amounts given to political organizations or NGOs?
Madam Chair, based on the notes to financial statement in our report, the assistance to non-government organization or civil society organization for the year 2023 is amounting 582,951.48.
Madam Chair, how about for 2024? Do you have information in your audit report on the subsidy or financial assistance to NGOs?
Madam Chair, for the 2024, we have no details because the annual audit report is pertaining to the annual for CY 2023. But we can provide the details once we're back in the office.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Okay. Salamat. Next is the Honorable Arlene Brosas.
Madam Chair.
But
Madam
before
Chair.
you begin,
Point of order, Madam Chair.
what is your point of order? And what is the rule being violated?
I do realize the kindness of our colleagues here. And I really appreciate that kindness, Madam Chair. But we are facing a blank wall. My goodness, without the presence of any of the officers and officials of the Office of the Vice President, we are facing a blank wall here, Madam Chair. And that's my point of order, because I really appreciate the kindness of my colleagues here in this briefing. Masyado tayong naging mabait, Madam Chair, and I would think that it is time for us to realize that we should not allow any head of agency to further insult the authority of Congress to scrutinize the budget, Madam Chair. That is my point of order.
Madam Chair, very quickly, Madam Chair, if I may.
Kong Abante, I believe that was a manifestation, not a point of order. So yes, we note your manifestation and we proceed to the Honorable Garin.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. With due courtesy to my mentor and, of course, a legislator who have been here for long. We admire and we respect the context of the Honorable Abante. However, Madam Chair, I believe this issue has been deliberated for several hours already since we started. With that, Madam Chair, even with the absence of the Vice President, but with the presence of other officials here, and with members who would like to ask questions, can we please proceed with that with due courtesy to the Honorable Abante, Madam Chair? Because we also have other meetings to attend to and we have a lot of members listed. So with that, Madam Chair, I hope that we put a period on that issue. Maraming salamat po.
Yes, and let me just, thank you, Honorable Garin, and let me just add a few more points. First is, kung naalala niyo po, nung huling hearing, yung ating representative mula sa COA, yung si Assistant Commissioner Juliano, ay wala siya masyadong naibigay na information dahil hindi naman po siya yung individual na nakakaalam nung mga tinatanong ng mga members. That's one. Pangalawa po, ang audit report for 2023 ay hindi pa po posted ng COA. So hindi pa alam ng ating mga members, pati ng ating mga kababayan. And that's the reason for why marami pong nakalista sa ngayon. There are 14 members who wish to ask questions. So kung sana po mamarapati natin, ay papayagan natin ang ating mga miyembro na magtanong. Kasi meron silang mga genuine na curiosity talaga dito sa budget ng OVP. So, yun lang po. Kaya payagan na muna natin and later on, let's decide kung anong gusto natin gawin dito sa budget ng OVP.
Madam Chair.
Yes, po.
Yeah, I would accede to that, Madam Chair, but let me just explain further. No? I was asked, what if the Vice President would not come to the briefing? No? Sabi ko, that's fine. As long as other officials of the OVP that could be able to answer us concerning the budget would come, Madam Chair.
Yes.
But there's no one here.
Thank
Secondly,
you. And
Madam Chair,
we have already...
I would like to remind our people that are listening right now, this is not just one congressman. This is a collegial body. And being a collegial body, as given the mandate by the Constitution, to brief and ask questions concerning the budget, the fact that the head of the agency is not here today is further giving an insult to the body here, and that is, I think, to be unconstitutional, Madam Chair. Yun lang po ang gusto kong sabihin. And I would accede that we should continue on. Thank you.
Salamat po. And again, continuing with the proceedings does not mean that this is an acceptable situation. Ang sinasabi lang po natin is, let us take advantage of the presence of our very hardworking members of GOA and DBM. Pagkakataon na po na malaman ang hindi natin nalalaman tungkol sa budget ng OVP. So with that, please proceed. Sorry, I have not yet recognized the next to interpolate from the minority. We have the Honorable Arlene Brosas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I would also like to mention na I believe during the time of Vice President Leni Robredo, we were able to ask her some questions. So, Madam Chair, hindi po cast in stone yung usapin ng tradition. So, Madam Chair, meron tayong mga ganun ding precedents, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Now, on to my questions, Madam Chair. Kaugnay po sa programa ng OVP, of course, ayun, again, wala dito. So, pwedeng itanong ko na lang sa COA ito. Yung OVP kasi meron siyang program na kalusugan food truck. Mobile kitchen para sa pagbibigay ng pagkain sa mga disaster responders. Based on the COA report, there were food items nearing expiry. Food items that were not found in the storage area, and food items which were kept in an unventilated shipping container during the physical inventory taking on last December 18 to 20, 2023. Ang tanong po natin sa COA, magkano yung worth ng lahat ng ito? Tapos, baka pwede pong ipaliwanag ng audit team ninyo, ano yung nangyari? Ba't nagkaganito?
Madam Chair, based on the COA report, there are various deficiencies observed during the physical count, inventory taking in the Davao Satellite Office on December 18 to 20, 2023, such as yung food items nearing expiry were remain undistributed, food items were not found in the storage area, food items were kept in an unventilated shipping container and in the food truck, thus indicating lapses in the OVP's inventory management. So, for the details of the cost of the stock, based on the report, the total amount is 148,422. That's the distribution of food items as of November 30, 2023, wherein the audit team, those that witnessed the physical inventory counting, observed that there were food items nearing expiry. But then there is a management comment here that the guidelines on the disaster operation program was revised through the office order number 2024-07, so strengthen the program by delegating tasks to the satellite offices to allow the agency to provide more efficient and effective disaster relief response. So aside from that, the management also commented, or the OBP management commented, that the specific items identified as nearing expiry were all distributed during the emergency response activity from December 27 to 28, 2023, and January 31, 2024 to February 2, 2024, as per post-activity reports with the food truck meals plan. So, in here po, na-distribute na po yung mga nearing expiry items. Then, in 2023 also, it was observed that the mobilization of the food truck located in Metro Manila, which caters the entire Luzon Island, was higher compared to the food truck in Davao. Hence, the Disaster Operations Center of the OBP decided to transfer the cup noodles to Metro Manila to avoid expiry. Then the transfer was done without additional cost to the OBP, since it is coincided with the scheduled travel of the DOC personnel. So, for the status, these all cups noodles were distributed during the emergency response activity in December 2023 in relation to the Tondo fire incident as per activity reports. And lastly, all food items inside the Kalusugan food truck were transferred to the storage facility. And on November 14, sub-food items were brought on board to the food truck for distribution. However, the Davao Satellite Office had to prepare to receive the 25,000 gift pack for the OBP anniversary Thanksgiving activity. Thus, they decided not to unload the food truck and transfer the other food items to the container van to provide space for the said gift packs. After the said activity, the food items stored in the food truck and container vans were brought back to the storage area on January 3, 2024. That's all, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, para ako nagde-deja vu ng DepEd, yung mga na-expire na pagkain at saka powdered milk. Sinasabi niyo po, yun din yung tanong ko sinasabi niyo po na yung powdered milk, cereal drink, instant coffee, pinamahagi siya during the emergency response activity. Pero ito yung kung kailan malapit na yung expiration date ng mga items, Madam Chair. So, syempre hindi ko naman kayo matanong kasi OBP yung naggawa. Bakit ganito, Madam Chair, no? Ang dami palang mga deficiencies na ganyan. Tapos, hindi na ubos yung pondo, right? May natitira pa ito?
Madam Chair, what specific fund?
Yung fund po para dito sa Kalusugan Food Truck.
Grabe guys, sayang.
Hence, Madam Chair, talaga it's very important na masagot ng OVP ito kasi ito pagkain, ito ay kailangan ng mga mamamayan pero apparently hindi pala naibibigay. So, tapos kung hindi man naibibigay, too late na maibigay. Tapos paulit-ulit ito. We've seen this doon sa DepEd and we are now seeing it sa OVP, Madam Chair.
Ano ba yan? Kapalpakan, mga besh? Kawawa ang mga teacher, mga estudyante, umaasa sa wala. My goodness.
I am asking sa COA kung may natitira pa. But while you are looking for the details po, may tanong ako sa Magnegosyo Taday. Yung sa Magnegosyo Taday, ano po yung allotted budget para dito sa programa na ito?
For the Magnegosyo Taday program of the OBP allotted 150 million.
Uy.
Tapos, magkano po na-utilize?
Based on the COA report, out of the 150 million, only 600,000 or 0.40% were utilized as of December 31, 2023, Madam Chair.
So, sayang yung pondo, Madam Chair. Sayang yung pondo para dito. And Madam Chair, parang pwede naman ito, inilagay na lang sa, DTI. Kasi, kung yun pala yung pondo na yun, Or baka pwede pa sa mga iba pang mga sectors na nangangailangan, DSWD or the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development.
O kaya doon.
Yun lang, Madam Chair, no? May mga malalaking pondo dito, sayang, tapos hindi nagagamit ng maayos. Madam Chair. And can you give me po yung to follow na lang, gusto ko po kahit yung i-explain ninyo kung yung mga food items, expiry, tapos magkano yung nagastos doon, magkano yung kasi observations po yan no? Tapos kung ano pa yung natitirang pondo para doon. Yun lang, Madam Chair, maraming salamat. Thank you.
Grabe guys,
Salamat.
no? Kawawa mga
Next is from the majority.
Hindi
We
sila
have the Honorable
nabahagian.
Doris Maniquez.
Napanis yung pundo.
Good
Grabe,
morning, Madam
naloka
Chair.
ako.
Good morning po sa lahat. Ang question ko lang po sa COA, meron po ba tayong guidelines na mga list ng properties natin? Katulad po itong sa OVP, lumalabas po na 53 million ang list niya per annum, na kung tutusin po parang duplication lang din ng mga line agencies natin. May guidelines po ba tayo para dito?
Madam Chair, for the guidelines, for the procurement of rental or lease of spaces or rental of real property and other items or other equipment, it is based on the procurement law RA 9184. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, kasi po nakikita natin na yung mga services na in-offer ng mga satellite offices at extension offices ay binibigay din naman po ng regional offices, ng mga line agencies katulad ng DSWD, DOH, DOLE, TESDA, lahat po yun. So, hindi ho ba natin dapat ma-disallow yung mga ganong expenses na duplication lang? Katulad po nung rental na lang na 53 million, wala akong problema dun sa personnel, at least nakinabang ang taong bayan. Pero dun po sa list ng mga properties na 53 million, lumalabas po yun, 4.4 million per month.
Madam Chair, if I may interject, in line with the questioning of our good Congresswoman, maybe we can use this as a reference. With regards to VP Lenny, her lease contract with Quezon City, which I was the one who drafted the contract, her monthly rental is 308,700 monthly, plus 12%, so that's roughly about 345,744, and that's for 5,100 square meters property. So makita po natin kung gaano ka mura lang po yung rental na kinukuha niya, and it's only one that was in Quezon City. So for the information of everybody, probably we can use it as a term of reference.
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, Madam Chair. Yun nga po, parang nakakahinayang po na ang binibigay po na serbisyo ng ating mga satellite at saka extension offices ay naibababa naman ho, lalo na po ngayon hanggang sa kanayunan. Meron na rin tayong mga provincial offices na kakakuha ng AIX, ng MAIP, ng TESDA, lahat po ng programa from the national government, Madam Chair.
Duble-duble mga besh.
Tapos ang pangalaw ko pa pong question, regarding po doon sa mga satellite offices, meron pong 10 plus 2 extension office. Madam Chair, samantalang we have 18 regions. So paano po pinili? Parang meron tayong pinapaboran pagdating po dito sa programa ng extension offices at satellite offices, na kung saan, sabi nga po, ay mas madaling makakakuha ng mga tulong sa Office of the Vice President, Madam Chair.
Oh, may pinapanigan mga bes.
COA.
Madam Chair, as to the establishment of the satellite office and extension offices, I think the Office of the Vice President is the one appropriate to answer the questions, because they are the one who determine the satellite offices.
Kaso guys, wala yung
you,
mga wala ang mga staff ng OBP at saka si BP. Wala lahat. Wala sila, hindi sila present. Grabe.
Paolo?
Nakaka-insulto talaga.
Sayang kasi yung momentum ni Kong Bing, ni Nanay Bing. Kasi may mga copies tayo nung mga satellite offices. When the Honorable Kong Franz Pomarin gave that number out, parang hindi ba parang overpriced yung mga rentals, Madam Chair?
Agree.
I don't know who's going to answer that.
Do you want to show it para makita natin dito sa screen?
Paano ba, ma'am?
Baka pwede natin ibigay sa COMSEC and then ililista kita with the indulgence of Kong Franz. Pwede po ba, Kong Franz?
Hala kayo, mga kababayan.
Okay. Kasi ang susunod dapat is si Kong Franz. With your kind indulgence, pwede ba natin paunahin na muna si Kong Paulo?
Hala kayo. Biro nyo, mga kababayan, hindi present ang mga staff at saka yung ang BP nyo.
Yes, Madam Chair, kasi meron din sana akong interjection doon sa mga interpellation ni Nanay Jing, Nanay Bing, Congressman Doris Manikis.
Okay. So can you just please send that to the COMSEC?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'll send the copies. Total na i-voice out ko naman yung opinion ko na, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Pwedeng quick.
Kaya lang, medyo maraming nakapila sa majority. So, hindi talaga natin kakayanin na may singit ka. So, if pwede, are you staying until the end? Okay, so sige. So, itutuloy na lang natin. Okay, so next to interpellate is the Honorable Kong Franz Castro.
Yes, Madam Chair, before I interpellate, gusto ko lang mag-manifest doon sa pinag-uusapan kanina about the opportunity, So, gusto lang natin, Madam Chair, itama, yung maling pagtingin ng Vice Presidente na opportunity ang pagharap niya dito sa Kongreso at mamamayan upang ipaliwanag kung paano ginastos at paano gagastusin yung kanyang mga budgets, opportunity na pwede niyang i-forgo. So tingin ko, Madam Chair, mali siya doon. Tungkulin niyang sagutin ang mga tanong natin dito at hindi ito negotiable. Just like it is the duty of every agency of the government. Kaya tama yung recollection ko kanina, Madam Chair, na nag-object kami kung tiniterminate agad ang budget, even in the office of the President dati. Kasi naniniwala kami na there should be no sacred cows, in budget hearings. And the OBP should be reminded that the public office is a public trust. She should be faithful to that trust. So yung ipinagkakatiwala nating budget sa anumang mga opisina, OBP man yan o OP man yan, ay may trust dyan ang ating taong bayan na dapat na pangalagaan, dapat ayusin yung paggastos. At hindi opportunity yung pagharap, obligasyon ng Vice Presidente na humarap sa mga budget hearing. At dapat hindi yon gawing tradisyon na merong parliamentary courtesy. At binali na natin yung tradisyon na yan kay BP Robredo, Madam Chair. Susundan ko lang yung tanong ni Congressman, ni Representative Manikis, Madam Chair. So sa COA, have you examined po yung mga contract ng mga satellite office sa bawat 12 satellite office ng Office of the Vice President? So, sinasabit po ba ito? Kasi talagang parang tingin natin dito, parang waste of money rin ito. Kasi nagagampanan naman ng mga previous Vice President yung kanyang mandato, even with the one office. 'Di ba? At yun muna yung tanong natin sa COA. So, nire-require nyo po ba yung mga contract of lease or contract of rent sa bawat opisina or satellite office, Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, for the contracts or the purchase orders, based on COA circular, we have guidelines that it is mandated or it is required to be submitted within 5 days after the perfections of the contract. Submitted to the audit team for verification and audit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nag-submit po ba ang OPP doon sa, ilan ba yon sa 2023? 7 na satellite offices ay may dagdag na 4 or 5?
Madam Chair, based on our audit, the contracts for the rental of office spaces were submitted to the COA.
So have you examined po yung contract? Kasi parang lumalabas dito na kung titignan natin, ako nakita ko na rin kasi yun, kasi nag-imbestiga rin ako doon sa mga satellite offices. Ang itsura nito ay hindi naman siguro worth that much na pagre-rent. So, have you visited din po yung mga satellite offices, ang COA?
Madam Chair, unfortunately, we have not yet visited some of the extensions offices because for information, we just assumed the office at the office of the Vice President last March 2024. So wala kaming, limited lang time namin then, but then last June and July, we have visited the Davao satellite offices and the Cebu satellite office.
Well, Madam Chair, siguro advice din natin sa ating COA, no, for further study and para mas konkreto po yung ating pagbusisi, no. Can you visit siguro, no, later on yung mga satellite offices. So
Madam Chair, actually, we have plans to visit the satellite offices for validation also of the operation. What is how the OPP satellite offices operates and how they use the funds for the implementation of the programs.
Yes, so mahalaga ito, Madam Chair, dahil yun nga sinasabi ko nga, parang first time ito na may BP na merong mga satellite offices. Parang dinaig niya pa yung Office of the President na isa lang yung offices. And well, opinion ko lang naman ito, kung makikita natin yung mga offices at ang location nito ay parang campaign offices, no? Kasi nasa lugar na kung saan tiyak natin yung mga yung mga boto. So, well, that's my opinion lang dun sa mga location ng mga offices na hindi naman siguro kailangan kasi katulad na sinabi ni Congressman Manikis kanina, we can do away naman with that kasi yung ating mga line agency related doon sa mga services ay nagagawa naman yan. Okay, so dito na po ako, no? Tutuloy na po ako sa aking next pa na mga question, Madam Chair. Dito kasi sa mga, well, nandyan po ba ang DBM, Madam Chair?
DBM Director Brillantes?
Well, dun po sa sinubmit, Madam Chair, ng Office of the Vice President as regards to the more than 2 billion. Well, makikita natin, Madam Chair, yung yung MOOE, no, na nakalagay dito. So, makikita natin yung mga services, yung mga socio-economic project, no, yung mga PS, yung mga MOOE. So, sa socio-economic project and stakeholders engagement po. So, meron po na kayong ninaprubahan ng mga budget for each projects, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Yes, meron po.
So, can you enumerate po itong mga projects and services po?
Can you give me a minute, Madam Chair? We'll just get the breakdown. Thank you po.
Well, baka matagalan pa, Madam Chair. Nandiyan na ba? Kasi tutulungan ko na kayong sumagot.
To enumerate po. Meron pong rice food bags, nationwide gift giving, Ramadan food packs.
Director Brillantes, kindly speak closer to the mic.
Pagbabago campaign, wheelchair distribution, medical assistance, burial assistance, educational assistance, and libreng sakay.
Well, tama po, Madam Chair, yung mga part ng tinatawag na socio-economic projects. So, kabilang dyan yung medical and burial, libreng sakay program, pagbabago, kalusugan food truck, magnegosyo taday, disaster operation relief bags, relief for individual in crisis, at saka you can be VP. So, kung titignan natin, Madam Chair, itong mga projects na ito, sa palagay ko ay redundant doon sa mga line agency natin yung ginagawa. And for example, Madam Chair, itong mga medical and burial, pwede naman yung i-course through sa DOH, PhilHealth, SSS or GSIS, yung libreng sakay po sa LGU o DOTR, yung pagbabago, DepEd and DNR, yung kalusugan food truck, well, sa DepEd, magnegosyo taday, pwedeng sa DTI, and CDA, at disaster operations, DSWD, at relief to individuals, doon po sa, siyempre, yung DSWD. So, talaga namang, Madam Chair, at itong mga to ay sinasabi nating doble lang doon sa ginagawa ng mga agency. At may improve lang siguro ito kasi, Madam Chair, meron na kasing existing na mga guidelines and procedures kung paano yung pagdidistribute nitong mga itong mga services na ito. Madam Chair, naisip ko lang yan, Madam Chair, kasi merong mga COA report on the distributions nga ng mga welfare goods, etc. Madam Chair, yung deficiency doon sa accomplishment ng mga distribution list at saka yung discrepancy sa number of beneficiaries na nasa COA report. So pwede bang maipaliwanag, Madam Chair, ng COA report itong kanilang observations on this different projects po, Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, as to the deficiencies in the distribution of welfare goods, based on our report, we noted that the distribution of welfare goods have various deficiencies. One of these is the following documents needed to support the distribution of welfare goods were not required by the agencies to be submitted. So, in here po may mga lapses po dun sa existing guidelines and procedures ng OBP wherein hindi po kasama dun yung pag-submit nitong mga documents such as yung sa distribution list for the rice distributed to the beneficiaries, through the deed of donation to local government units or municipalities. Only the property acknowledgement receipt was required to be submitted. So wala po yung distribution list. Then another one is the situational report and mission order or any equivalent document to support the incident or disaster is not also required to be submitted to the COA. Then lastly is yung list of identified beneficiaries or validated list provided by the barangay or LGU as basis for the preparation of the distribution list was not also required to be submitted. And then also, there's also the late preparation of financial reports by the accounting division caused by the late submission of the requisition and issue slip together with the document. So, in other words, yung pong distributions ng mga welfare goods, nalilate po yung mga documents. Then, next is yung deficiencies in the preparation and accomplishment of the requisition and issue slip wherein it is not properly accomplished and it is not signed by the supply and property officer. Then also, Madam Chair, deficiencies in the preparation and accomplishment of distribution list. The distribution list was not pre-numbered to easily validate and monitor the number of affected beneficiaries. And then some of the list or distribution list lack necessary details or information such as date, time of or name or type of relief item and the area of location of the activity. Then it is also stated in the report that the distributed by portion of the distribution list was not properly signed by the concerned personnel, and also several distribution lists were not duly signed by each beneficiary.
Well, are you done? So, Madam Chair, so makukonklud natin dito na kung ganyan po, no, na merong mga programs and projects related to the line agencies, well, tayo naman, for example, in our, yung mga AICs, at iba pang mga aids na hinihingi natin sa DSWD, properly documented yan. Kasi hindi pwedeng mag-distribute ng kahit na ano man o maibigay sa mga barangay kung hindi properly numbered or listed. Tama po ba? Kasi sa DSWD, meron na silang mga mga listahan ng mga guidelines kung ano-ano yung mga hihingin ng mga information, so that alam din natin yung mga beneficiary. Tama po ba ang COA? Tama po ba ako, COA?
Madam Chair, yes po.
Yes. So yun nga ba, Madam Chair? May time pa ba ako? So manifestation na lang, Madam Chair. So etong mga programs and projects related po dun sa mga ginagawa ng mga line agency, pwede na po natin itong tanggalin, no? Na budget sa Office of the Vice President, since duplication lang ito, at nakita naman natin sa mga regions nagagawa din naman ito, Madam Chair. So yun lang po, Madam Chair, and salamat po.